Ukraine's current leadership and former leadership, arch-rivals, find themselves on one rare same page, that peace talks are faltering. How? Both claim Russia and Putin are playing the United States and Ukraine. But what they call a play could also be Russia driving a hard bargain that Ukraine is structurally unable to withstand at this stage of the war. The talks are US brokered. Europe is only now being pulled in. And Kyiv is discovering that negotiating with Moscow, without leverage on the battlefield and without unity at the table, leaves little room to dictate outcomes. Here is what is really unfolding behind the scenes. Former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has issued a blunt warning to President Volodymyr Zelensky. Poroshenko says Zelensky misread both Putin and the structure of these talks. He says, entering negotiations without first securing a ceasefire and without Europeans fully inside the process leaves Ukraine exposed to Russian political warfare. Poroshenko frames this as a repeat of Moscow's past playbook, where diplomacy is used as a weapon to fracture Ukraine internally and exhaust Western unity.
Never trust him, and only start talking to the Russian leader when you're arguing from a position of strength. Remember, Putin is a KGB officer. He's a specialist in this kind of thing.
Poroshenko goes further, openly attacking how Washington and President Donald Trump are reading Vladimir Putin. He says Trump believes Putin is bargaining for better terms. Poroshenko says that is a dangerous illusion. According to him, Putin is not negotiating territory or peace terms. He is pursuing historic ambition, internal destabilization of Ukraine, and strategic dominance, regardless of the cost in lives.
Trump thinks Putin is trading with him and trying to get better peace terms. This isn't true. Putin isn't trading. He has an absolutely different understanding. Putin wants to restore the Soviet Union. Putin wants to re-establish the Russian Empire. I have no doubt about that. Putin dreams about his place in history, and no matter the price in lives lost, Russian lives and, of course, Ukrainian lives.
Zelensky, in his own words, is now admitting that the Geneva peace talks are not delivering results. After 2 days of US-brokered negotiations, Ukraine's president says sensitive political compromises and even the possibility of a leaders' meeting remain unresolved. He also makes it clear that Europe must be part of the process, reinforcing Kyiv's demand that France, the United Kingdom, Germany, and others have a seat at the table.
Today, we had several detailed discussions with our negotiating team in Geneva. It was the second day of meetings, a trilateral format and other formats as well. Ukraine is determined to achieve results. As of today, we cannot say that the outcome is sufficient. The military representatives discussed certain issues seriously and substantively. However, sensitive political matters, issues of possible compromises, and the necessary meeting of leaders have not yet been sufficiently worked through.
Zelensky has also announced sanctions on Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, accusing Minsk of deepening its involvement in Russia's war effort. Kyiv is now formally treating Belarus not as a bystander, but as a co-participant in Moscow's invasion strategy. The sanctions come as Ukraine faces pressure on the battlefield and at the negotiating table, reinforcing Kyiv's message that diplomacy cannot be separated from accountability for aggression. As Kyiv waits for the next round of talks, Zelensky says Europe must remain firmly inside the process. This directly mirrors Poroshenko's warning that negotiations without European pressure and without leverage on Russia only strengthen Moscow's hand.